Welcome to the Katie Wellness Podcast. This week's podcast is going to be a short and sweet one where I'm going to share some of my favorite holiday swaps. So, just jumping right into it, we're a little close to Thanksgiving to be making a lot of these swaps at this point, but maybe as we get closer to Christmas and throughout the holidays, start to be aware of the swaps that you can make that will um, have a better impact on your health, that will be more beneficial rather than depleting your health and your energy. Let's get rid of this mentality that it's sick season. Really, it's an increased sugar intake season. So, to start off with one of my favorite swaps, right now we are making a lot of our own whipped cream. So, instead of using Cool Whip or using canned aerosol whipped cream, you can make your own with just four ingredients. So you take heavy whipping cream, powdered sugar, a pinch of salt, and vanilla. Vanilla is optional, but I like it. I have a really cool Pampered Chef tool that I use to just pump it, but you just take egg beaters and whisk them or a whisk. You can do it by hand. It tends to take a while by hand, which is why I like this Pampered Chef tool that I have. But yeah, that's one of our favorite swaps to put on. Sometimes we'll put it on pancakes in the morning or waffles, or put it on our pumpkin pie or our apple pie, or using it to fold into our banana cream pie. So pies around the holiday, this is a great ingredient to swap out instead of doing Cool Whip, which Cool Whip or whipped topping often is filled with soybean oil, that which is an inflammatory oil. So I try and avoid using that. Some of the other swaps we are making for our Thanksgiving dinner, my boys are not big fans of green beans or green bean casserole, but they did say, "Hey, we'll have your famous Brussels sprouts." My famous Brussels sprouts are roasted Brussels sprouts topped with balsamic vinegar and Parmesan cheese. That's it. My husband did have the request to throw in bacon. So we're going to have, instead of green bean casserole, we're going to sub that for Brussels sprouts with bacon and balsamic vinegar, which I'm really excited about. The traditional green bean casserole is made with creamed soups. So like cream of chicken or cream of mushroom soup traditionally. If you can get away from using those canned, and using uh, more fresh. So you can make your own. It's called a roux, but basically it's a fat and flour and some kind of liquid, whether it's milk or chicken broth or beef broth, and it just makes a creamy broth, a creamy soup base to mix that in with your green bean casserole. Second thing we're going to be having on our Thanksgiving table, we are making homemade mashed potatoes. We will just wash and cube the potatoes, throw them in the Instant Pot, cook them, and then we'll add raw milk, grass-fed butter, salt, instead of using instant mashed potatoes where you just open a package and add water. So that's another swap that we're making. For our turkey, instead of using inflammatory oils like canola oil or vegetable oil or soy-based butter substitutes on the outside of our turkey, we are going to use avocado oil and grass-fed butter to slather on the outside of the turkey to help keep it moist. Last thing we're going to have on our Thanksgiving table are sourdough rolls with kamut flour instead of traditional like Hawaiian rolls or homemade is always going to be better because you have control over. Growing up, it was common to have just like the big homemade dinner rolls. I still love to this day my mom's crescent rolls. I can't make them quite like she does, so I get to enjoy that when I go home. But for my family and what we're doing, because it's just the five of us, um, we're just gonna stick to what we know we like and sourdough rolls with kamut flour. The kamut has a lower gluten content. So we tend to do a little bit better with that. And then the sourdough helps to digest that gluten even more. Two other things we're replacing. So we are replacing food guilt, meaning, oh, I shouldn't eat that. Oh, I can't have that. Oh, I already did this. We're going to replace that. I'm going to replace that with permission to enjoy the food that I have from a place of gratitude without being indulgent, without feeling like I have to have 15 pieces of pie because I never get pie, right? I'm going to get rid of that guilt. I'm going to give myself permission and I'm going to enjoy until I feel content. Last thing, I'm going to replace 1,000 dishes on a beautifully set table to serving it buffet style out of the pots that it was prepared in onto paper dishes, or at least dishwasher safe dishes, so no one has to spend the entire day cleaning up. Listen, Mama, you deserve to be with your family on Thanksgiving Day. You should not be in the kitchen cleaning up, making everything, cleaning up. I see this all the time. Women, we feel like it's our duty and our responsibility, and sometimes we may even enjoy it. But do we enjoy it as much as it's costing us, right? Is the payoff equal? Is the energy that we're putting in worth the appreciation that we feel and the satisfaction that we feel knowing that we prepared this beautiful meal? Or are we leaving the table resentful and frustrated and feeling our self-worth diminished because no one appreciated the work that we did do? Or we didn't appreciate ourselves, the work that we did do. We didn't find joy in the process. That's kind of my biggest message, is find joy in the process. Whatever you choose to do for your holidays, on your Thanksgiving dinner table, find joy and gratitude in it. Otherwise, you are going to build up resentment and anger and frustration, and no one deserves that. You don't deserve that. You work too dang hard to prepare this beautiful meal, to create these beautiful memories for people who don't appreciate you and don't care. Do what brings you joy. So that's all for this episode. I told you it was short and sweet. Just be aware of little swaps that you can make. If you have butter on your table, can you swap out the fake margarine butter substitute for a grass-fed butter? In your homemade rolls, if you go that route, can you swap it out for kamut flour or gluten-free flour or other flours that help you to feel nourished? When you sit down at your Thanksgiving table, do it from a place of rest and gratitude and appreciation for what you've been able to provide. Whether that's a lot or whether that's a little, coming from a place of gratitude really helps your food to digest better, which we don't want to walk away from Thanksgiving dinner feeling like a stuffed turkey, right? Or doing the wobble, waddling away from Thanksgiving dinner. Just be aware of what your body is telling you. That is all for today's episode. I want to wish you a very happy Thanksgiving, and I'll see you back here next week.